communism. I'm just talking about that complete control of one group of people, like the one or two in charge of the queens, and the rest are just worker ants or whatever like that. I remember seeing that when I was going. I went and stepped I saw this big pile. And at that time I was a little bit diffused with the marijuana, but it made me contemplate. And I said, let me go over here just for the heck of it, since I'm just sitting here contemplating nature, and just take my foot and put it in there, stamp it on this top of this ant pile and see what kind of reaction comes up out of it. And don't you know, the minute I put my foot down in their head and was pulling back, they was already in action. They were already encoded with this is how we react.
Mm-hmm.
Not no individual thing, not by consensus, let's get together and decide on it. They were, the minute I pulled my foot back, there was some already taking the eggs out, there was some separating the queen, and then there was a bigger group that were coming toward me. They already were encoded with immediate reaction.
They sent out the signal.
Like robots.
Right.
No individuality in this. And I was looking at this as I wasn't even 20 years old. I was just a kid there, and I was saying, man, you know what? I just might be looking at the future of the world right there. And that's a horrible thought to be thought of as a colony of ants with no individual mental functionality, no freedom of that, just going by script, like robotic script, under the hands of one or two few who got all power, and that's right where we are. That's where we are right now, not just in America, but for the world. That's what I don't feel bad for these young. What they're gonna have to inherit and go through. I almost feel sad. I mean, real sad. I mean, they know that there's gonna be some that's gonna make the adaptations they gotta meet the challenge, and that's all the best that they can do. But it's just a shame that they was left with this kind of inheritance from the greatest country on earth. That this is what we left, going to lead to our real young ones. Behind greed, indifference, tradition, enjoying the luxuries skipping off some other, taking the riches out of raping some other countries or something, and then for our own luxury's sake. And then when it's brought to the light, just the indifference or the just plain resentment because we were found out for it. Instead of making the adaptation and say, you know what? Yeah, I own up to that, and I might not be able to do it immediately, but let me start taking steps toward adapting my lifestyle to make this whole world a better place. Instead of me and my personal family, this whole world is supposed to be yours. Supposedly, humanity is supposed to have that kind of thing, but I just don't see it, man. We just, we're losing.
There's got to be some hope somewhere, though, man.
Yes, I'm trying to find a grain of it everywhere I go. That's the only thing that made me say.
I'm finding it right here with you, brother. Seriously.
Yes.
It's good to hear it.
My mind
It's good
just
to hear
can't
the
come
truth.
to grips with just in the last 3 years on a daily basis, it almost seemed, to where it's almost burning my mind out. Now I was always a pretty sharp one as far as, looking ahead and seeing the big picture. And it's just happening, some of the most outrageous stuff on a daily basis or a weekly basis, stuff that hadn't happened or we haven't even seen precedent of in 30 or 40 years ago, and all of a sudden it's happening on a weekly basis. How can that be?
You served in the Air Force. What was your title?
I was airman. So I went to Germany for 3 months training, and I was in Europe. The best years of my life because I got to see different cultures. And it was a quieter time. It was a time where around the world we were appreciated more.
And there was leadership then.
Yes, and there was this calm leadership by example. There was leadership, not by everything that's done. Look at me, I'll take the credit of it. The leadership, the position was already in place. All the people that came in, the revolving doors of who held the title of it, was to just maintain that.
Mm-hmm.
And represent that particular office or field that you were in, represented in an honorable way, which is just non-existent right now. Everything is about ego, about tribes, about groups, about me and my traditions, and all that's behind greed and the hate, and the system itself is uninherited at that, and it's become a beast.
So us coming together today, does that inspire you at all?
Absolutely. I had a flashback to the 60s. I was there as a kid during the 60s. I was in Newark when that big blow up just came right down my street.
Nice.
It came down Plainfield Avenue in Newark. It went from Newark to Plainfield. It was like a 20-mile distance. It was just discussed. People were behind the same kind of event involving the police force, the men in blue, and then not all, but they're gonna, when there's rotten apples, you got to get that rot out of there and stop making excuses for it.
Amen.
And then, come on, that's common sense, simple, basic common sense.